Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It's Tuesday, February 16th. I'm Jeff here with my friends Stephanie and Brandon.
Hey, hey.
Look at us. Very serious up here, all dressed in dark colors.
It's like, hey, come.
You know, I got a splash of like happy maroon in there.
I got a little pink going on.
The black is as dark as my soul.
Okay. All right, on that note, let's move on. Olivia Wilde is facing backlash online after praising Harry Styles on Instagram. So stay with me here. Harry appears in Olivia's new film, Don't Worry, Darling. The two are also romantically linked. The film, which just wrapped, also stars English actress Florence Pugh. Okay. okay? Olivia posted this tribute to Harry, praising him for letting Florence hold the spotlight and shine. She added that many male actors don't want to play supporting roles in female-led films because it lessens their power and financial value. But Twitter wasn't having it. One user said, praising Harry for being in a movie starring a woman is the most bare minimum bleep, and that we shouldn't applaud Harry for not being sexist. Another person wrote, why are we praising men for doing the bare minimum? It's literally his job. And our 14th person writing in wrote, is it bizarre that she thinks someone with one released acting project where he had a minor role deserves such a massive round of applause for conceding the lead to an Oscar-nominated actor? That was a good comment. Harry was in the movie Dunkirk, by the way, and Florence received an Oscar nomination for Little Women. Please go, guys. I'm done.
You jump in.
Okay, so I mean, I understand where she's coming from as she's directed this movie, and it's true, you know, the male to female ratio is completely outnumbered, and there was a survey done that looked into female leading roles in movies in which there was a crazy amount of male dialogue, even though in the movie it wasn't about them, it was a female storyline. If you look at Disney, 22 out of 30 Disney movies that were analysed as part of this whole research were heavily based on the female character, like Little Mermaid or Mulan or whatever, and the script for the males actually outweighed the female's character. So I think, you know, we're so used to seeing this, and I understand where she's coming from. She's trying to raise awareness, like, he's taking a bit of a back seat, he's letting the woman be the leading shining star. So I understand what she's saying, but I also understand the frustration from the viewers or readers of the Instagram post at home saying, well, why isn't that happening already? And it's the truth. Sadly, that isn't happening.
I gotta say, I was one of those frustrated viewers when I read this, because I mean, I'm very open about my 5 sisters and pushing the not so much the female gender, but women empowerment with my nieces. Right. And to say that this man took a back seat, and like that comment that you read to say that, oh, you know, he was only in Dunkirk, when Florence Pugh is an Oscar-nominated actress. When it comes to this film, the only people I know now are the men. The Shia LaBeouf, or I've ruined his name. He's
not in it anyway. So
he's not in it, or the Harry Styles. I want to hear the women. I want to hear the women's story that they're telling when it comes to this. So I get what she's saying. Again, there's no flack to her, but I can understand the backlash, because it's like, okay, Harry Styles, we get it. He's this, you know, mega superstar, but he can't outact Florence Pugh, so why are we praising him and not praising Florence Pugh for allowing him to take a back seat in her movie?
I'll tell you why. This is my
okay.
What Olivia wrote, I don't think she should have wrote that, right? But it is her movie, right?
Yep.
Shia LaBeouf, a gigantic name, dropped out of her movie, or he was fired, or one or the other. That could affect the whole production of the film, right? Her new man, which she wants to put on a pedestal a little bit, Harry Styles,
of course,
stepped in, right? So the movie can continue on for Miss Pugh to maybe perhaps get another Oscar nomination. Had she not gone about it by saying male men take a back seat or whatever she wrote, and just say, hey, I'm so proud of my new boo, he stepped in and now the movie's a green light. Boom. That's all she had to say, right?
I think also she's trying to highlight, you know, the unfairness of Hollywood. I mean, we look at things like the Hunger Games, where it's all meant to be about Katniss Everdeen, and there's 2 male characters that are supporting roles that got more screen time than she did, and it was about her and her journey, and it's all about how they're supporting her. Look at Frozen, 2 female princesses, and it's all about the guys that are saving them and how they're gonna, like, get them out of all these different situations, when really the story's about the 2 sisters. We look at Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts, and it's all about her being saved by Richard Gere, and it's her story.
All right, well, enough about women. Let's talk about Michael B. Jordan.
I'm glad you broke it down like that, because Jeff, earlier I thought, you know, you had, if you didn't explain that, then a lot of people would have just fell to like death.
And then just ears. Stephanie's frustration being in between 2 men was enough to get the point across.
It's as black as her soul.
All right, we are moving on to Michael B. Jordan, though, because he went all out for Valentine's Day. People's sexiest man alive recently began dating Steve Harvey's daughter, Lori, if you don't remember. She shared these videos on social media that Michael B. Jordan rented out an aquarium.
It's beautiful.
Wow. That would be amazing for the special day. Yeah, that's going above and beyond. He had a chef from the high-end restaurant Nobu there. I don't know, excellent seafood. And he gifted with some stock in the luxury brand Hermes.
Yep.
Wow. The evening ended in this luxury suite decorated with flowers and with a romantic bubble bath. Where do you go from there? Come on.
Brandon,
Exactly.
the king
Speechless.
of romance on the panel. What's he got to say about it?
Look, Michael B. Jordan is getting a lot of backlash from a lot of men in the entertainment because Lori Harvey has a past in her dating past. She's dated Justin Combs, the dad, P. Diddy Combs, Future,
So did he need to do that to show that he was better than all of her passes?
He did it to show that as a 34-year-old man, he is comfortable with the queen that he has chose. And for that, I salute him. Because if you think about it, you can get a girl bag. You can get a woman a nice Hermes bag. You can take her out. You can spoil her. But when you buy her stock in that company, that's showing you that you're operating on a different wavelength. So it comes when men have this ego, when you're like, we men in this entertainment industry, Brandon London, I'm dropping dimes right now. This is the new improved B London 2.0. So, but because we have this ego, back when I played, professional football, if you say, oh, you saw this woman out with this football player, she used to date this football player, you back away from it. And what you're backing away from the potential of you falling in love and being with the love in your life. I've been in these streets, I've been in these streets. So you have to understand that when it comes to love, you don't know who you're going to fall in love with. And if this man is genuinely in love with this woman, then forget her past. I am genuinely happy for Michael B. Jordan.
All right, that was very nice and poetic.
Am I the only person that just thinks it's incredibly insensitive that they were eating raw fish and sushi in an aquarium?
That's what you got out of it.
Am I the only person that's thinking this?
That's a
It's
great
like,
point.
oh, hi, Nemo, I'll have another piece of flounder.
And then-
like, what?
And then
I'm
look
the
up and be
only
like, your
one that was
cousin's
like,
next.
It's like, that's really weird.
They sell like fish and chips though at aquarium and stuff.
No, they
Because-
don't.
Yeah, I promise
I
you
don't
because
know how I feel
I've brought
about that. I
before.
don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like that's a bit weird.
Because they could just go in the aquarium and get it.
Is that where you got it?
Literally, that's where my brain was at. That's all I could think about. I was just thinking about the fish, and it's just really weird. I'm like eating a piece of raw tuna as a shark swim by.
All right,
me.
let's stay on track here.
Okay,
All right, we're
yeah,
getting
yeah,
off track.
yeah.
What do you think about this happening so quick? They just started dating, renting out an aquarium, chef from Nobu, all like above and beyond. Is this too much in your eyes, or is this something that would sweep you off your feet?
I think obviously he's put a lot of effort in, and I think, it wasn't very personal though, was it? It was more a bit like, let's splash the cash and show off a little bit, and he knows that it's going to be all over Instagram. He knows everyone's going to be talking about it, so it probably was slightly tactical too. I mean, I don't think it was very personal. It wasn't as if he really got to know her and got her like her absolute favorite, I don't know,
Scent
rare tea from China
Hermes
or something.
Hermes stocks. That nothing
Again,
says I love
it's like
you like
a business
stock.
move, isn't it? And he probably got it as a very big favour because of who he is as well. Let's be honest. Like when Kanye West does all this stuff for, did, past tense, all this stuff for like Kim, and we saw Travis Scott for the rest of the Kardashians, they get it all for free because it's publicity. I'd rather have seen something really personal. It was beautiful. He did a great job, but I mean, social media is real, isn't it? So we all know why he did it.
Ooh. All right, we're going to move on. Reality star Lisa Vanderpump admits that she may have gotten a little too close for comfort with her dancing partner. Lisa appeared on Dancing with the Stars with Gleb Savchenko back in 2013. On a recent episode of the Bellas podcast, Lisa, who has been married for 31 years, if you didn't know, revealed that she felt something for Gleb during her time on the show. Let's listen.
Gleb was gorgeous. I did become very close to Gleb. I loved him. And I did feel that we had a little bit of an emotional affair in terms of having to connect and hold on to each other because it's so scary. And it was his first time, on Dancing with the Stars. And it was totally out of my comfort zone. So I do think we really kind of held on to each other tightly like that. And I adore him.
Now, are you guys comfortable in your positions and relationships that this would be okay? Are you cool with like your partner emotionally going somewhere else with somebody else?
Yeah, I wouldn't care if whoever I was with wanted to do that. It's my dream to go on Dancing with the Stars. It's my actual dream. So I hope that if ever that happens, if whoever I'm with would be
He's okay with that.
I would hope so. But I've heard of this. It's like this in England they call it a Strictly Come Dancing curse, and because so many partners leave their partners and have gone on to go get married and have babies and all sorts.
Look, I'll be okay with it, but I have to vet who that person is. Remember, Gleb was accused of infidelity by his former wife. So you know, Gleb could have been using that lambada or whatever it is, that forbidden dance to do some forbidden things. So I would be okay with it. I'd be like, oh, go have a great time. But then I'd be right there at the practice like, hey, bro, you don't need to twist her again.
I appreciate Lisa Vanderpump's honesty, right? Because you do have to go to another place when you're with someone 12 hours a day.
And it's very physically close. It's not just like they're having a conversation or anything. They're like spending 8 hours a day dancing, you know, very closely to one another.
Oh, but I'm married, so.
All right, coming up on DBL, have you heard of vouching? It's the new twist on dating. Dancing with the Stars, any connection? No. Would you get cozy with someone who didn't take the coronavirus pandemic seriously? And an old Letterman interview with Lindsay Lohan is under the microscope. Years later, we'll explain the controversy coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
Welcome back to DBL. Is it fair to call out people's behavior that took place in a different time or era? That's the question many are asking. After this old interview with Diane Sawyer and Britney Spears resurfaced, now another old interview is getting a lot of attention. This time it's David Letterman interviewing Lindsay Lohan back in 2013. Many are calling Letterman out for making fun of her personal life, especially her struggles with addiction. Let's take a look.
Now, aren't you supposed to be in rehab now?
Do you not watch anything that goes on? Yes.
And how long will you be in rehab?
3 months.
How many times have you been in rehab?
Several.
And how will this time be different? What are they rehabbing, first of all? What is on their list? What are they going to work on when you walk through the door?
We didn't discuss this in the pre-interview.
No.
Now, a lot of people are calling on Letterman to apologize, but this is all part of a much deeper conversation. Is it fair to call out behavior like this, even though it took place in a different time? This is the question, man, and it's not going to stop because there's going to be more videos resurfacing. As soon as we did the Britney Spears video, I said, what about Lindsay Lohan? I said, what about the two Coreys? It's never going to stop. So is it okay to have someone apologize for past things that they have done?
I think every single individual situation is going to be completely different. And I think, unfortunately, watching that clip back, it makes me feel very uncomfortable. And I feel like, I mean, I can see different sides to this. One, she did ask for a pre-interview, and his questions weren't approved. And I think there's a way of going about it. If he'd have been a little more sensitive and said, oh, you're going back to rehab? You know, how are you doing? Are you okay? You know, made it a bit more human, but he made her a bit into a laughing stock.
Well, I don't think that laugh track helped, whether it was a laugh track or people laughing in the audience, thinking everything was funny. I don't know if he would have went there if people hadn't started laughing. Again, now we're talking like semantics and things, but what are your thoughts?
I think when it comes to something like that, not so much an apology, because like you said, that was pretty much kind of like the time. It was wrong for what he was doing, but it was acceptable by everyone. You know, otherwise we would have called that out way back then. I think an explanation, though. I think for him and the woman who interviewed Britney Spears, I think right now with the climate of where we're at, where everyone's trying to find, hey, what's right, what's wrong, hey, how do you feel like this, or why do you feel like this? I think if you were one of those people who were looked at as like a bully, or it was a blackface back in the day, or even the bachelor lady, Lindsay.
Yeah.
I think now some sort of explanation to get people talking about these things, because like we said, if you don't and you just automatically want to cancel someone, you're going to shut people out, and it's going to shut the complete conversation down right there. So a person like David Letterman, with his influence and his prestige, if he was to come out and have an open conversation with Lindsay Lohan again and talk about, hey, what were these things you were going through, and what was it like going through it through the public eye? I think that'll educate a lot of people. And now when we deal with the Kanyes and the Demi Lovato, whomever,
are we not allowed to ask Kanye about his mental health? Are we not allowed to ask Charlie Sheen if he had sex with multiple prostitutes?
We should.
Are we not allowed to ask these questions as journalists anymore?
But not without with the laugh track behind it.
I know it's out of control. A lot of those things that you said, like the Rachel Lindsay thing from The Bachelor, let's have that conversation. But when now you're just going back and grabbing any story from any interview, it's becoming a problem. It dilutes the message that you're trying to send, and it even dilutes the apology in general.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for every interview that you've ever done in your 40-year career. Sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Not an apology, but an explanation.
Yeah, sorry. I get worked up about this because it's not going to stop. We're going to be doing these stories for the next year. All right, coming up on DBL, I'm going to cool off. And Dr. Fauci, he is getting in the way of people's love lives. Why the famous doctor is now being linked to a new dating trend. We'll tell you what that is next. back to DBL. Dating during a pandemic has brought on all kinds of problems for people looking for love. Now, Dr. Anthony Fauci is even having an impact on the dating world with his name sparking a new trend. It's called Fauciing. According to the dating site Plenty of Fish and the Urban Dictionary, it involves declining to date someone because they're not taking the pandemic seriously enough. Dr. Fauci was recently asked about it, and here's his response.
It means cutting off a relationship if you don't think that that other person is serious enough about social distancing and taking the pandemic seriously. Like, oh, I Fauci'd that guy.
I'm gonna Fauci you.
So, would you guys Fauci someone if they didn't take the pandemic serious? Listen, I would.
Really?
Would. If I started dating someone and they're at bars and clubs and concerts and not caring about it, of course.
Yeah, if they were doing that, then I wouldn't date someone. I just think it's really weird meeting someone who you don't even know right now, like on the random. I remember I saw some people on a date and they were in Target, and I knew they were on a date because I could tell it. Like, the girl was really dressed up and they both had masks on and just like walking like round the aisles together, like trying to make a date. And I was like, that is just so weird, isn't it?
See, I would not date that person because of that. Like, what if what about the people who take over precaution?
Well, then you're never going to see them.
Yeah, but it's just.
Is it that hard for people just to be alone and single though during this time?
It's been a year.
Yes, it's been a year, Stephanie. Like, a lot of single people have been in the house, like sitting there talking to themselves in the house. You know,
get a pet. I got a cat. I got a piano again. I've not played in years.
That's.
I'm a
Brandon
piano
needs
cat.
someone else to tune his piano.
You need conversation. Like, you need to have conversation with someone. You need to do stuff with people when it comes to dating. Like, I'm all about FaceTiming and talking on the phone. But at a certain period of time, you really get to know someone by being around someone, seeing the mannerisms. Hey, do they spray before they eat their food? Oh, do they got stuff stuck in their teeth? That sort of thing. Like, you have to be around someone to get to know someone. So by denying someone because they don't wear masks 24/7 and all, you're just.
But it's a conversation, and it could be a turn-off.
I think, like, I would meet someone for like a coffee or something if we could like sit a bit further away and wear a mask or whatever. But I wouldn't want to go, like, if I saw someone like going to Miami and partying and living it up, or going to Texas and living it up all the time.
But testing is free. Why don't y'all just go get tested before y'all go meet for the coffee?
I mean, there we go. There's the answer.
Yeah, that's actually a great answer.
Thank you.
Really good answer.
Thank you.
That was a simple answer. I was looking for a way out. There it is. Go get tested.
Right there.
Go get tested. All right, we'll be right back. Great answer, Bilal.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
DBL, we love sharing your comments. Jessica says, leave what happens in the past, talking about Lindsay Lohan. Jennifer said, could this be why we keep repeating history? Because we ignore it. Jennifer, great point. And Pete, right from Facebook, says, they sell hamburgers at the zoo, Steph.
Yeah, but when they're not like zebra hamburgers or lion hamburgers. I just think it's really weird eating fish in an aquarium. I don't think that's right.
But there's pigs there and you eat bacon.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger.
Where are the pigs in the zoo? What kind of zoos are you going to? Farm park or something?
We'll see you guys tomorrow.